far as I was concerned, all the money was gonna be spent for the pension funds. Now there's
I
extra.
can clarify, and I think, Alderman, I'll ask you, let you go, but to clarify, if you go back to the minutes of the meeting, I was very clear that we had two separate things to discuss that night. One was the sale of the cell tower. The other one was the funding of the pension program. And I said several times during that meeting, as you may remember, that we need to consider those two distinct things that we are doing. They are not intertwined. We're discussing them both on the same day, at the same meeting, but one is not connected to the other. There was certainly a commitment, and there's completely a commitment to reform the pension system and to fund our pension obligations, and obviously that remains. But there was never a commitment, an earmark for any money, any specific money, to go to any specific purpose resulting from the sale of the cell tower. In fact, it was specifically said by me that the two decisions need to be made separately in the Alderman's minds, and I got to caution the Alderman about that. And I would do it again now. But certainly the mayor and the administration, and I hope the board, still has a commitment to funding our unfunded liabilities, to making sure that a pension plan that hasn't been funded in years gets on the track to financial health. That remains a priority. But the sale of the tower, that those funds again are going into the general fund and are going to be subject obviously to the budget process, and hopefully put to the best use of the taxpayers in the city.
It's very, very likely that that was said in the room that night. All I'm asking, because I don't necessarily think that there's anything wrong with using the funds if they're available for something else. I'm not, again, necessarily against that. What bothers me is I sat in here and it swayed my vote to sell that tower for the unfunded pensions. I would like the comptroller and the Board of Aldermen and the mayor's administration to have a special meeting discussing, why there was changes so that the public
There were no
knows.
changes, though. A reading of the minutes will reveal that you're.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know.
Minutes, Charlie.
Are you finished with stuff? I guess so.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Mr. Adamowski, please.
Well, every time this comes up, I'm more and more glad I voted no for the cell tower, because this is really turning into a show. But I get to smile because I got to agree with my first ward Republican, Charlie Stout. I believe, and I believe even our comptroller, Mr. Nimmons, was led to believe that the sale of this cell tower was to go for that, into that fund. And I'll be honest with you, sitting here that night when I voted no, I knew dang well that's where it wasn't going. So I'd be impressed to see if you see a penny of that money going today, to be perfectly honest with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Adamowski.